Shalom, all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom and in peace. May that be into the elect of the nation of Israel. Now going into this, 2 Timothy 4 and 2. Hold on, Salakia. Alright, forgive me. Now getting back into this, so 2 Timothy 4 and 2. Preach the word. Let's get that word for preach, or the let's hear it. Caruso. Oh, 1 minute. Let's try that again.
Strong's G 2784. Caruso. Caruso.
Caruso says to be a herald. Now let's look up the word. What is a herald? Because we really are heralds. Herald. It says a messenger, envoy, late 13th century in Anglo-Latin, is a surname. Commander of an army. Yeah, not in that sense. I don't mean we're commanders of armies. Well, I'm looking to sound the praises of. Yeah, you could say that. All right, so this guy is they use it in a secular sense. Yeah, this guy was heralding about his great this and that. Let's see if I can find it there. Right, herald on Google. It says an official employed, so an official employed to oversee state ceremonial precedents and the use of armorial bearings, and historically to make proclamations, carry out official messages, and oversee tournaments. A person or thing viewed as a sign that something is about to happen. Right, so what's that saying it before? Prediction or prophesy. Yeah, saying it before. Verb. Be a sign that something, and do not disturb now. That's a loud word, we shouldn't have any disturbances. Right, so as a verb, it says be a sign that something is about to happen. Now what's about to happen? Well, you have got, we're going back to the etymological definition there. And not to command, but to... So it's that one, for example, foreshadow or presage. Now, is a war going to happen? Yeah, a war is going to happen. We had that whole, we didn't have it, but there was that whole controversy with Captain Tazariak of ISUPK, or ISPK. They was basically butchering Revelation, the 9th chapter, which in fact is going into World War I. Yeah, and then there's not, it didn't go into the second woe too heavy. We know the third woe that is to come. Let's get into that. Revelation 9 and where should we start? Well, there it is. Yeah, verse Revelation 9 and 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Now, if you read in context, you know there was 3 as well prior to reading that. Because you have... There it is. Revelation 8 and 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voice of the trumpet of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound. Right, so then it was sort of setting you up for it, this is going to happen. So what was that? That was ultimately heralding it in. Yeah, so that is preaching. Or the word caruso there, caruso. So what we're heralding in. Also you have a herald if you ever watch any not older, but movies, period pieces, for example, and you have them people, the trumpeters, that go, when a person of royalty is about to come in. What are they doing? They're heralding in the entrance of a king, more time a king, you know. But in the divided queendom, you know, it is ruled over by a queen. So how is that a kingdom? Anyway, to be a herald, to officiate as a herald, to proclaim after the manner of a herald. Right, so that's 3 times. Obviously, that's basically one definition. But the second one is used again, a herald. It's where you actually get the name Harry or Harold. It comes from the same root there. B, always with the suggestion of formality, gravity, and an authority which must be listened to and obeyed. And that's what bugged out Jake. Yeah, that bugged out Jake. Because it wasn't as the scribes Let's search that. Authority scribes. This is Matthew chapter 7 and verse. I'll read this whole parable here. Starting at 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Right, so that's the difference between lip service and your heart being far from, and then the true, belief, faith, doing the will, and not just the hearers of the word are justified, but the doers thereof. Verse 22. Many will say to me in this day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wondrous works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Now, we're not trying to be part of that. We want to be making sure we're doing everything we can, like it says, making your calling and election sure, but then doing the things, and not just getting complacent, not getting lukewarm, but remaining, like it says, I think that's Luke, I'll pull it actually, Luke 12 and 51, not 51. Right, Luke 12 and 35 says, Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Because there's not time, in that time, there's not time to be fooling about, oh, let me get my shoes on. You need your shoes on. Right, you need your shoes on, your coat on. You need everything. As our deliverance, was in haste, the Pesach of Matazarium, also known as Egypt. It said, have you I think that's his loins girded. Let's look at Exodus. Oh, it's there. Exodus 12 and 11, and we're coming into this time, Exodus 12 and 11. And thus shall ye eat what? The Passover, the Pesach, Ha-Pesach. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded and your shoe. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat in haste. It is the Lord's Passover, right? Yahawah's Passover. Now, when we get into the scriptures and we begin to read a bit more, we realize Yahawashi is that bread of life. Yahawashi is that living water. Yahawashi is that wine. Yahawashi is that perfect lamb. Okay, Yahawashi is our Passover. As it says, 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, starting at verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened, for even Hamashiach, our Passover, bear with me. Right, so we're basically just going into in season, out of season, looking up a few words, the word herald, heralding in, bringing it in, the prophecies thereof, hitherto, and going into Ha-Pesach, and how Yahawashi is our Passover, and linking that into scripture I didn't pull. If you got it up, could you get it up? It's Revelation 19 and 10. Right.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship the Most High, Yahawah, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy.
Okay, if you want to get into it.
So as it reads, when he in the vision, when he fell down and bowed before the angel, he told him, no, don't do it. He was trying to raise him up and say, worship, fuck's sake, man. He's trying to, it's like just the guys on the ropes. As it reads again, it says that, and I have thy brethren. Alright? It said, I am thy fellow son of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. So he is somebody that has a testimony, and he says to worship Yahawah, bahasham Yahshua. Okay, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. In other words, that he's saying that he had the spirit of prophecy. He said worship the Most High, Yahweh bahasham Yahshua, and have that spirit of prophecy granted unto you as a gift, right, through faith. And faith itself is a gift. So that tells you everything is through the Lord's power. That's more so important these last days when things get really hectic, to know who our true power is, where our power is coming from. Especially you Jakes who love your guns. gun-toting Jakes. This is Psalm 44:6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. All right, and that strap you got around, your belt buckle, that is a form of sword, man. And that's not gonna save you in those days, right? When the enemy comes in like a flood, you got a vision of flood, right? Massive amounts of water taking down places, swimming across, making all these cars float on.
I mean, there's been some recently in England.
Yeah.
If I could just touch on that as well, in Revelation 19 and 10, it says, "I am thy, of thy brethren and thy fellow servant," which really proves that we are angels in this dirty flesh. Which that should embolden us and build our faith to understand if we're angels in this, although we're in wicked flesh, we're them angels and messengers, those heralds. That should encourage us and boost us up. You can see the offices that the Lord gave the angels, the spiritual angels in the heavens. So it's only a matter of time before them on the earth, their earthly counterparts thereof, will get that same power, man, or it's spiritual power of the same source ultimately.
Yeah, just like the brother said, like even though we're of the angels, we're also in wicked flesh. So that's like a good just balance of us to be humble in this wicked captivity, that we're in right now. Or I should say, the captivity where we're compassed by the wicked. And when they really unleash on us, we're gonna really know what it means to be compassed when they're all around us. We're not gonna be able to do anything of our own power. It's not gonna be up to us. It's gonna be of the Lord, to deliver us. Whether it be Him putting the Spirit on us, so we use our vessels with spiritual power to do something, or He just simply delivers us in any other. He can do anything He wants. Remember, if a sparrow falls in heaven because the Lord ordained that for that to happen, then we can do many things.
A sparrow is small, not blood clot, man. Like proper small, Do you have water?
I do, yeah. It's like Psalm 44:7. But Thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us.
Now, so even going back into the old Passover, until ultimately the Lord passes over and there's a brother Azan. But I'll just get this last precept, because we're about to come to this. Is 1 Corinthians 9, verse 27. Shalom. Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. 1 Corinthians 9:27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So like the brother was saying, even keeping that humility, the amount of work that Paul did, obviously it's not based on your works, but in terms of the majority of the New Testament books came from Apostle Paul. So for him to say that he may be a castaway, that's really puts it into perspective, man. We got to get off. So Lord willing, that was edifying. On to the next one, Lord willing, giving all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Shalom.